All right, my friends, today is day number 38. Today's day number 38, midweek, week 6. We are cruising, okay? All right, today is day number 38, 38 days you guys have been at sea, at the sea of ultimate pulmonary wellness. And we are sailing, my friends. We are sailing. For some, it's been a smoother sail than others, yet we are still afloat. We are still on our mission. We are still moving forward. We are no longer rudderless. We are no longer adrift. We are on the move. The wind is at our backs, my friend. The wind is at our backs. Keep it coming. The hard part is over. One of the hard parts is over. The hard part that is over is the hard part of getting the car moving. The hard part of getting the car moving is over. Now we are starting to approach the other hard part, which is keeping the car moving and keeping that momentum going, okay? But we are going to do this. We did not come this far to turn back now, okay? We did not come this far to turn back now. I have many rivers to cross before I find my way back home. We got many more rivers to cross, my friends. Keep it coming. Day 38. Day 38. Get ready. Question of the day is coming at you now. Alrighty, so today's question of the day comes to us from Lisa Spencer. The question is, I'd like to submit a question. That's not a question, that's a statement. And you did submit a question. It is in regard to quality of air inside the home, i.e. dust and or animal dander, and the impact to pulmonary patients. Do you recommend an air purifier to improve the air quality? Are there any other steps to assist in improving air quality? Yes. And then you sent me another question that said, that followed up and gave me more info that said, I have had a handful, I have pets, dogs and a parrot, and I'm spending significantly more time at home since retiring, hence my original question about air quality. All right, great question, and you are correct in being concerned about air quality indoors, okay? So a lot of times outdoor air quality is the focus of many different things, especially there's a lot of focus on that in the news now because of the wildfire situation. But you know what? Where do we spend most of our time? We spend most of our time either at work or at home, and our environment, our indoor environment, is subject to many of the same possible triggers for us, or as a possible reservoir of things that can actually cause us difficulties. So let me start with this. So there are some people who are going to be more reactive than others, okay? Some people are going to have a much harder time with dogs or cats and dander. And some people won't have a hard time with it at all, okay? Some people may have respiratory disease and their inflammatory component or their asthmatic component or their allergic component is not to the same degree as some other people. There's some people you walk by them and you have on, a little bit of perfume or a cologne, and that's enough to actually trigger an attack of bronchospasm or an asthma attack, okay? Now here's the concerns I have there, okay? You say dogs, okay? So multiple dogs, okay, and birds. Birds are a big problem because birds carry diseases and, not just in their feathers, but also in their poop. A lot of people actually, in a lot of people's cases, birds are actually the suspected cause of their disease, and often it's interstitial lung disease. Now, I've had patients, one in particular that comes to mind that's kind of, it's an interesting story. What happened one time was I got a call from my wife who was on 34th Street, and she is a extremely animal friendly person. Not just friendly, super compassionate towards animals, especially if they're sick or hurt. So there was a pigeon who was injured, and he had like this rope tied around his feet and tar on him. And she said that as people were walking by, they were kicking him, and the bird was really in distress. So could I come get the bird? So yeah, I got the bird, brought the bird home, and gave the bird a bath, which I later found out was not the right thing to do. But I cleaned him up, got the tar off of him, got the string off of him. But then the question was, okay, well, now what are we going to do with this pigeon? And especially we had a dog in the house that could not deal with the pigeon. So we found out about this rescue service for all birds. So this woman comes into the apartment, takes a potato chip bag out of her pocket, grabs the pigeon, puts the pigeon in the potato chip bag, and leaves. I never saw the pigeon or the woman again until several years later when I had a patient who, as she's telling me her story about bird rescue, it comes back to me, here she is, okay? And here she is with interstitial lung disease as a result of exposure to so many birds. And again, it's not just feathers, okay? There are people who are gonna be significantly affected by feathers, but it could also very well be their poop, their droppings, cleaning of the cage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's start with this, okay? So the more animals you have, the more, the higher the concentration of the potential allergens, the worse it's going to be. The less ventilation you have, the worse it's going to be. Now, for some people, we think of ventilation as opening up the windows. However, depending upon where you are, the air quality outside may be just as bad or worse. So what do? Most people I know are not going to give up their pets. I am allergic to, dogs and cats to some extent, but I will not live without dogs and or cats. I love animals, okay? So for me, I'd rather take a Claritin D every day or 4 or 5 days a week on the days that my allergies are really kicking up than to get rid of my pets. And I'll assume that you are in the same way, in the same situation. So what do? Does it have an impact on pulmonary patients? It absolutely, positively can. What are the things that are going to determine how bad it is? So number one, how allergic are you? Number two, and these are in no particular order, the concentration. And the concentration of the allergens can be based upon the type of dog you have, the size of the dog, the number of the dogs. So obviously all of those, as you have bigger dogs, as you have, more dogs, as you have a greater concentration of allergens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the worse it's going to be. The less ventilation you have, the worse it's going to be. Okay, so airing it out, keeping it super clean, giving your dogs baths or getting your dogs groomed on a regular basis, okay, with ideally hypoallergenic products. Other things you can do, definitely recommend air purifiers. And the air purifier that I like now, there's two of them. One of them is called Rowenta, and the other one is called Blue Air, okay? And what I like about them in particular is that they have multiple levels of filtering, okay? So they have filtering for larger particles, they have filtering for, smaller particles, medium particles, but also chemical, filters and things like that. They have multi-stage filtration, which is a big plus. Okay, but all of this is also, again, contingent upon you keeping your house clean, not using cleaning products that are going to trigger your allergies and allergens and triggers. And then, there are things, this thing that gives you a meter, and it tells you if, the quality of your air inside, and we keep that running in the pulmonary center all the time. But we have many, many filters all around the pulmonary center. And that was because we initially had the place checked, and there are people who will come and check your space for various different things that you can have in your space. Then we filter. They came back, everything was clean. So it definitely makes a difference. Also, key factors, you have to keep them on, you have to keep them running, and you also have to change the filters on a regular enough basis. And we over change filters, and also making sure that you're changing the filters in the air conditioning system, in all the ducts, in all of the different places that dust can get stored up. And I think that's it. I think that answers the questions. Alrighty. All right, Lisa Spencer. There you go. Have a good day, everybody. Day number 38.